Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, verse number 46 of the 4th chapter of the Ādi Khaṇḍa of Sri Caitanya Bhāgavata by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. All the translations and purports are by His Divine Grace, Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, who is the beloved, revered spiritual master of our founder Acharya. His Divine Grace, Shri Srimad Abhay Charana Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. Verse number 46. Bale na vidvana saba kariya vichara eka nama yogya haya thuite ihara. After due consideration, the learned scholars, Vidwan, the learned scholars there suggested an appropriate name for the child. Eka nama yogya hai thuite ihar. So we are discussing, what is that? Could somebody please send the link to verses on Vedabase?
I'll share it, Prabhu.
Okay. So we are discussing the pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, making an appearance in this world. And soon after his birth, the parents, grandparents, neighbors, well-wishers, superiors, they are trying to decide what name to give the child. So the respectable ladies, they gave the name Nimai. Iha aneka jeshtha kanya putra nai sheshaye janmaye tara nama se Nimai. So many daughters, 8 daughters took birth and then unfortunately died. So let us keep the name of the child Nimai, because the neem tree is supposed to have certain special powers, not only medicinal powers, but also power to ward off evil spirits. So they said, let's keep the child's name Nimai so that no evil spirits will attack and this child will live long. So the ladies, out of their affection, they kept the name Nimai. Now, the scholars, Vidwan Sabha, all the scholars, they gathered together, headed by Shri Nilambar Chakravarti, the greatest astrologer, who is an incarnation of Shri Garga Muni. They also decided a name for the child. This child is Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what name did the scholars keep for the Supreme Lord? Eshishu janmile matra sarva deshe deshe durbhiksha ghuchila vrishti paila krishake. They said, the Vidwans, the learned scholars said, since this child was born, all the surrounding provinces have been free of famine, and also the farmers have had sufficient rains. So all good fortune has come since this child has appeared in this world. Purport by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. After careful consideration, the expert learned persons named the child Vishwambhar. Vishwambhar. Since the birth of this child, his mercy had produced rains from the cloud of pure devotional service that have showered on the living entities' hearts, which are compared to the farmer's field burning from the threefold miseries. Thus, the seed of devotional service to Krishna has fructified and grown, and the absence of glorification of Lord Krishna has now been completely eradicated. Just see, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is making such a good analysis of this verse, and using the historical fact that all the drought and famines were ended as soon as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this world in Nadia in West Bengal. There was abundance of rain, food grains, and there was total prosperity for everyone. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada, being Jagat Guru, he is wanting us to not take this example of material prosperity to be just material prosperity. That is a pitfall. Because then the tendency is to equate material prosperity with Krishna's mercy. By Krishna's mercy, I got a bonus. By Krishna's mercy, I got a high-paying job. By Krishna's mercy, my child is healthy. By Krishna's mercy, I recovered from COVID-19. So if someone does not recover from a particular disease, is that not Krishna's mercy? If someone loses money, is that not Krishna's mercy? Yasya aham anugranami harishyeta dhanam shanay tad dhanam tayantyasya swajana dukkha dukkhada. So the tendency is that we consider material prosperity to be Krishna's mercy and material adversity to be punishment. But this is foolishness. Nowhere in the Shastra is this nonsense understanding supported. In fact, throughout our scriptures, we see devotees going through difficulties. Gajendra was a great devotee. He was Maharaj Indradumna. He gave up his kingdom for Hari Bhajan. But because of some neglect of Sri Agastya Muni, he was cursed to become an elephant. From being Nripati, from being the king of the humans, he became the king of the elephants. Gajendra. He became the king, Indra, of the Gaja, of the elephants. And then he was grabbed by a crocodile. He had to go through so much pain, so much suffering, so much fear and anxiety of death for years after years after years. Think about Gajendra, how much he suffered. His suffering did not last for 5 minutes. Imagine being in the jaws of a crocodile for 5 minutes. How anxiety provoking it is. And then think that sometimes you are able to almost pull yourself out of the water and gain an advantage, and again the crocodile pulls you underwater. So there is hope, despair, just like the duality of this material world. And you pin your hopes on your loved ones, your near and dear ones, that they will never let go of you, they will always support you. But then Gajendra, with his own eyes, saw his wives, his children, his family members, his friends, his subjects abandon him and go. For some time they were there, cheering him, rooting for him. But after some time they also lost hope and they had to move on with their own life. The show goes on, as they say. The show goes on. So they left. They had to find their next meal. They had to carry on with their lives. And Gajendra was left all alone, struggling. Kaun kahu ke nija sukha kara data, nija krita karma bhoga sabhrata. Kaun kahu ke dukha sukha kara data. Ram Navami is coming. When Bharat apologizes to Lakshman, that because of him, my dear Lakshman, even you have to be in Vanvas. Even you have to suffer forest life. I'm very sorry. I'm feeling very sad for you. Bharat, after expressing his grief to Lord Ram, he's expressing his grief to Lakshmanji also. Lakshmanji says, Kaun kahu ke dukha sukha kar data, nijakrita karma bhoga sabhrata. My dear Bhrata, my dear brother, don't feel bad. Kaun kahu ke dukha sukha kar data. Who is the giver of dukkha and sukha? distress and happiness to everyone. Nobody is. Nijakrita karma bhoga sababhrata. My dear brother, we are simply all of us suffering the results of our own actions. Tatte nukampam susamikshamano bhunjana ev atmakritam vipakam. All the vipakam, all the troubles that come our way, they are atmakrit. They are self-created. So therefore, Gajendra was simply suffering his own destiny. How much suffering he had to go, how much suffering Yudhishthira Maharaj had to go, and Arjun had to go, and Bhim had to go through. Lost their father, had to live in the forest. They were completely unwanted in their own kingdom of Hastinapur. Imagine having to live in a house where you are not wanted, where the homeowners want you dead. Think about it. What kind of feeling is that? And then there are so many attempts made to insult you, humiliate you, and kill you. You are poisoned. There is a plan to burn the house where you live. You are cheated in a gambling match, which was rigged. You are sent to the forest. There also, so many attempts are made to humiliate. You are not allowed to live in peace. Durvas Muni is sent. Duryodhan comes there to mock at the poverty-stricken situation of Yudhishthira Maharaj and his brothers. So at every step, there's a big war fought where you lose your grandfather, your spiritual master, your Gurudev, your teacher, your sons, all of them. Imagine how painful it is to lose one's child. Pandavas lost all their child, not one child survived. All the 5 sons they had from Draupadi Devi were killed. The son of Arjun and Subhadra Devi, Abhimanyu, was also not spared. He was Krishna's own nephew. How much suffering, how much pain, how many tears they had to go through. See the suffering of the Brajvasis. For 11 years they were with Krishna. But after that, it was simply rivers and rivers of tears. So the path of Krishna consciousness is a path of purification, my dear friends. Every tear that we shed, every pain that we experience, every humiliation that we endure is burning our previous sins away. We are getting purified. The burden of sins that we are carrying on our shoulders is slowly being relieved. One suitcase is being thrown away, thrown away, thrown away, thrown away, until we are completely free and we can enter Krishna Leela. But this purification is very painful because we are attached to our luggage that we are carrying. Oh, this is my bag. It has my clothes. It has got sweets. It has got my money. It has got this. It has got those memories. It has got this. And we are so attached. But ultimately, Krishna will take away everything except our bead bag. Everything he will take away except Harinam to purify us. Because Harer Nam eva kevalam. Kalau nasti eva gatiranyatha. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur does not, let's go back to the purport, does not want us to think that material prosperity is Krishna's mercy. Please repeat. Material prosperity is not necessarily Krishna's mercy. Material prosperity could be a result of our previous pious activities. And while we enjoy the effects of our previous material piety, we are entering into a contract deal that I will accept the suffering also. Because happiness and distress are two sides of the same coin. You accept the coin looking at heads, happiness, you like it or not, you are getting tails also, distress also. If we accept happiness from a favorable situation, we will have to accept suffering also from unfavorable situations, because this is a world of duality. This is not a world of just happiness, 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 or just distress, distress, distress. Both are there. We accept one, we have to accept the other. We accept happiness, we have to accept distress also. We should never think that happiness is Krishna's mercy and distress is Krishna's punishment. No. Krishna is Prema Murti. He is Sat Chit Ananda. Ananda means Prem. Prem Ras. Because there is no Ananda without Prem. So therefore he is Prema Murti. Ananda Leela Maya Vigrahaya Hema Bhadivya Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Maha Prema Rasa Pradaya Caitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Shri Krishna Caitanya Mahaprabhu is Maha Prema Rasa Pradaya. His Prema Rasa Pradaya. And that is the mercy. That is the mercy of Krishna. Not adversity and not favorable situation. Not happiness and not distress. That is not Krishna's mercy or Krishna's punishment. Krishna's mercy is Maha Prem Rasa Pradaya. Namo Maha Vadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Krishna's mercy is Krishna Prem. Everything else is of this material world. All rewards and punishments are of this material world. They have no factual effect or relationship with the soul. Any situation in life which brings us closer to Krishna Prem is favorable. Any situation in life which takes us away from Prem Ras, from Krishna Prem, from Krishna consciousness, we should see it as unfavorable. Krishna's mercy is when we get sadhu sanga. Krishna's mercy is when we get satsang, when we get sadhu sanga, association of devotees. That is real mercy of Krishna. If someone is dying from cancer and because of that, one gets a phone call from one's spiritual master, is the cancer a problem or is the cancer a solution to all the problems? This we have to think. Any situation in life that attracts sadhu sanga, any situation in life that attracts mahat kripa is favorable, is desirable, is Krishna's mercy. And anything that takes us away from sadhu sanga, from satsanga, from mahat kripa, from hari naam, from hari katha, we should see it as a danger. The alarm should go off. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying, what is this rain and what is this famine? Since the birth of Nimai, his mercy has produced rains from the cloud of pure devotional service. So what pours forth from the cloud of pure devotional service? It is a cloud of Krishna Prem. Namo Maha Vadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. And what is the field? It is our heart, our consciousness. And what is the situation in Kali Yuga? We have got threefold miseries. Miseries caused by our own self, Adhyatmik Klesh. Miseries caused by other living entities, Adi Bhautik Klesh. And miseries caused by our destiny, the higher powers, Adi Daivik Klesh. And because of these threefold miseries, we are simply burning. Samsara Dava Nalalidha Loka. We are simply burning in this forest fire. But when there is Praptasya Kalyana Gunarnavasya, when we get the Kripa in the form of Ghana Ghanatvam, in the form of the rain clouds of pure devotional service, representing Shri Guru, Guru Kripa, then the rain shower extinguishes the forest fire. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. The fire is doused, extinguished, and the rains produce fructification and growth of Bhakti Lata Bij. Bhakti Lata Bij. So this is what is represented by the famine and the sufficient rains that Nimai's advent brought about. So this is a very important point. Verse number 48. Jagathaila sushtha iha jana me purve jena prithivi dharila narayani. Just as Lord Narayan previously delivered the earth planet, the entire world has become prosperous since the time of the birth of Nimai. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada explains very nicely. Previously, when the earth was submerged in water, Lord Narayan, in his incarnation as Sri Varahadev, delivered and maintained the earth and thus became known as Vishwambhara. Then again, prior to Lord's incarnation as Hayagriva, the science of the absolute truth was lost to this world with the Vedic literatures submerged in the water of material knowledge. Lord Hayagriva then destroyed the material knowledge and natural science of the demons Madhu and Kaitava, and in this way displayed the glories of Vedic knowledge. When Madhu and Kaitava had stolen away the Vedic knowledge, the Supreme Lord appeared as Sri Hayagriva and killed Madhu and Kaitava. Madhu Kaitavare, Bhaktanukampin Bhagavan Murare. And he rescued the Vedas. For this reason also he is known as Vishwambhara, because he maintained and protected the whole world. Whenever the demigods and humans are harassed by demons, various incarnations of Lord Narayan appear in this world to protect and maintain the universe. Who can unmute and tell which verse of Srimad Bhagavatam this sentence refers to? Whenever the demigods and human beings are harassed by demons, various incarnations of Lord Narayan appear in the world to protect and maintain the universe. Etecham sakala pumsa krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam lokam mridayanti yuge yuge. That is the verse. Such incarnations are therefore also known as Vishwambhar. Since this boy will also protect and maintain the universe like an incarnation of Vishnu, the name Vishwambhar is appropriate for him. After considering in this way, the learned scholars, Vidwan, gave the name Vishwambhar to the Lord because of his advent and the influence of chanting and hearing the names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. People who had forgotten their constitutional position and become afflicted with unwanted habits have gotten relief. That is, they have become situated in their constitutional position or have attained the goal of life. What is the constitutional position? Naham vipro na chanara patir na api vaishyo na shudro naham varani na cha griha patir no vanastho yatirva kintu prodyan nikhila paramananda purnamritabdher gopi bhartuhu padakamalayur dasa dasanudasa. This is the constitutional position. I am not Brahman, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Shudra. I am not Sannyasi, Vanaprastha, Grihastha or Brahmachari. I am none of these designations. 4 Varnas and 4 ashrams. No, ultimately, what am I? Who am I? Gopi Bhartu. Gopi Bhartu means Radhanath. Who is the Gopi? Srimati Radharani. And Bhartu means Nath. Radhanath, Gopinath. Our Prayojan Murti. Shri Gopinath. Padakamalayora Dasa Dasa Anuvata. Means I am the servant of the maid servants of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. Radha and Nath. Krishna is Nath. Radha Vallabh. Radha Ramana. Radha Krishna. Radhe Sham. I am the servant of the servants of Radhe and Sham. Not just Krishna. Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur Dasa Dasanu Dasa does not mean I am a servant of Krishna. I am a servant of Radha Krishna. Gopi Bhartu is Gopi Nath. Radha Nath. Gopi is Radha. So that is the meaning of constitutional position. Verse number 49. Ataiva iha Shri Vishwambhara nam kula deepa kosthiteo likhila ihan. Therefore, this child should be named Shri Vishwambhara. Ataiva iha Shri Vishwambhara nama kula deepa kosthiteo likhila ihana. This name is also given in his horoscope. His name is Shri Vishwambhar. Purport. From the calculation of Shri Vishwambhar's horoscope, he was understood to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the original source of all other Vishnu incarnations. Ete cham sakala pumsas Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So he is Vishwambhar. Verse 50. Nimai ye balilena pativrata gana se nama dvitiya dakibe sarva jana. Nimai ye balilena pativrata gana. Nimai ye balilena pativrata gana. The Pativrata Gana are called chaste ladies. What is the name given by the chaste ladies like Srimati Shachi Mata, Srimati Malini Devi, Srimati Sita Thakurani? What names did they give to the child? Nimai. Nimai ye balilena Pativrata Gana se nama dvitiyada kibe sarva jana. And this name, Nimai, became the secondary name of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Second name. Primary name is what was given by the Vidwans, by the grandfather, Sri Nilambar Chakravarti, based on the horoscope. Shri Vishwambhar, that is the main name. Therefore, in the Gaura Gayatri mantra, Vishwambhar name is there. Let me understand Sri Chaitanya. Let me meditate on Sri Vishwambhar. And may Sri Gaura inspire all my activities. That is the meaning of the Gaura Gayatri mantra. These three names are there of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. First is Chaitanya, second is Vishwambhara, and third name in the Gaura Gayatri mantra is Gaura. So Vishwambhara is a primary name. Nimai is the second name. Sarva Shubha Kshana Nama Karana Samaye Gita Bhāgavata Veda Brahmana Padaye. On the occasion of the child's, sorry, I forgot to read the purport of verse number 50. The name Vishwambhar given to the Lord by the learned scholars is his primary name, and the name Nimai given by the chaste ladies is his secondary name. From today, people will first address him as Vishwambhar and then as Nimai. Chaste ladies. What is this Pativrata Gan? Chastity is a very important quality of a Vaishnavi, of a lady. Very important quality, chastity. A Pativrata Nari, a chaste lady is called Sati. She's called Sati. And who is a chaste lady? One who even in her thoughts, even in her mind, does not think about another man. A woman who is completely devoted to her dharmapati, to her husband. That is the way of the pravritti marg. There are two paths. There is pravritti marg and there is nivritta marg. This is explained in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Pravritti Marg is the path of indulging in sense gratification and ultimately progressing towards Krishna systematically. And Nivritti Marg is the path of renunciation and very quickly going towards Krishna. It is a shortcut, direct path. But Pravritti Marg is the indirect path, where we have one foot in material sense enjoyment, one foot in Krishna consciousness. So in the Pravritti Marg, a woman is completely devoted to her husband and does not even think of another man as her paramour. Never. Completely chaste. And this is the Grihastha Dharma. This is the Patni Dharma. And such a Patni is called Sati. A chaste lady is called Sati. And it is said a Sati gets so much power by her chastity that yatha Sati tatha yati, it is said. Or yatha yati tatha Sati. As much power as a sannyasi has, a man who takes sannyas on the basis of vairagya, on the basis of tyag and renunciation and austerities, the power that a yati, a sannyasi gets, yatha yati tatha sati, that much power, as much power a sannyasi gets on the nivritti marg, that same power on the pravritti marg a woman gets if she is chaste to her husband. Yatha yati tatha sati. And our Puranic literatures are completely filled with so many examples of satis. There is great power. And therefore, when these satis, these chaste lady, Pativrata Gana, Prativata Naris, when they gave the name Nimai, it was very powerful. And it was honored. It was respected. On the Nivritti Marg, on the other hand, my dear friends, one may disobey one's husband if one is doing it for a higher cause. To disobey one's husband is breach of Grihastha Dharma for a sati. But on the Nivritti Marg, on the path directly going to Krishna, if for a higher purpose one disobeys one's husband, it's not just that there is no fault in it, but it is glorious. Hare Krishna. Aradhya Bhagwan Vrajesha Tanayas Tadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargenaya Kalpita. The most pleasing worship, Ramya means the most pleasing worship, was performed by Vrajavadhus, the Vrajagopis. Why? They gave up their husbands. Pati Sutanvaya Bhratar Bandhavan Ati Vilanghyate Achyutagata. For the sake of Achyut, they gave up. This should not be misused. This principle should not be misunderstood. If a husband says, eat meat, and the Vaishnavi wife refuses, she is disobeying her husband, but she is breaking a lower dharma for a higher dharma. So it's glorious because she wants to get Krishna and Radharani. She wants to please Radhesham. So her tongue will not be unfaithful to Radhesham. Whatever Radha Krishna have eaten, only that my tongue will eat. Meat, eggs, fish, onion, garlic is not offerable to Radhasham Sundar, and therefore I will not eat it. That is chastity to Krishna, and that is more important than chastity to one mundane husband who is nothing but a bag of skin, bones, flesh, stool, urine, pus, bile, mucus. The list goes on. So there's a higher principle. Should not be misunderstood, though. So where were we? Verse number 51. Sarva Shubha Kshana Nama Karana Samaye Gita Bhagavata Veda Brahmana Padaye. The occasion of the child's name giving ceremony was most auspicious. Why? The Brahmanas recited the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Vedas. Hari Hari. So anytime when we are doing Swadhyay, we are reading and studying Sri Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Vedic literatures like Padma Puran, Gopal Tapani Upanishad, all these Bhakti literatures, that time becomes favorable and auspicious. Purport by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Whenever the name-giving ceremony is conducted at the house of a Brahman or Vaishnava, the Brahmanas recite Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Vedic literature. On this occasion, all auspicious symptoms like favorable winds and the absence of unseasonal weather conditions prevailed. So even Mother Nature was cooperating. Why should she not? Because she belongs to Krishna. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam. Verse 52. Deva nara ganakara ye ekatra mangala hari dhvani shankha ghanta baja ye sakala. Deva nara gane karaye ekatra mangala. Both demigods and human beings chanted the name of Hari, Hari Dhvani, as Shankha Ghanta Bajaye Sakala, as conch shells were blown and bells were rung. Shankha baje ghanta baje, baje karatala, madhura mridanga baje, paramarasala. Our Gaura chant is so beautiful. Bahu koti chandra jini badana ujvala, gala deshe bana mala, kore jhalamala. The shankha is being blown, the kartal, the sweet sound of mridanga, the sweet sound of the bell, it's all there for the service of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Ghanta baje, baje koratala. Shankha baje, ghanta baje, baje koratala. Madhura mridanga baje. Paramarasala, because the flute of Krishna has incarnated as the mridanga of Gaur Leela. And Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is so beautiful. He is more effulgent than millions of moons. Bahu koti chandra jine badana ujwala. He is ujwal. Ujwal. Very effulgent. Mahaprabhu. Ujwal also means Unnat Ujwala Rasa, which means Madhurya Rasa, the giver of Unnat Ujwala Ras, Madhurya Ras. Ujwal Ras Ananda. Ujwal Rasa Ananda. Unnat Ujwala Ras is the rasa that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give in that beautiful verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anarpita Charit Chiram. Long time this was never given, the Unnat Ujwala Ras, which is Madhurya Ras. This is the Ujwal Rasa Ananda, the pure bliss that is derived from receiving the Unnat Ujwala Ras, Madhurya Ras, which means Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's gift. Ujwal Rasa Ananda. And he's very effulgent, like millions of moons.
અહીંયા હતા ને આનો બોક્સ કંઈક
And
અહીં ક્યાંક બોક્સ હતા ને એ કહું છું.
And Gala Deshe Banamala kore jhalamala. And in his neck, yes, Prabhuji, please. And in his neck, around his neck is the vanamala, which is doing jhalamala with the beautiful breeze on the banks of Ganga. And Shukdev Goswami, Lord Shiva, Narad Muni, they are all becoming overwhelmed by seeing this darshan of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu in Gaura Arti. Shuka Shiva Shuka Narada Preme Goda Goda. Preme Goda Goda. They are getting overwhelmed with emotions seeing this beautiful form of Mahaprabhu. Bhakti Vinoda Dekhe Gaurara Sampada. Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur is beholding this beautiful darshan of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu in Gaura Arti. Bhakti Vinoda Dekhe or Dekhaye, and he's showing it to us through this beautiful Arti, bhajan that he has written. So that is the meaning of Deva Nara Gane Karaye Ekatra Mangala Hari Dhvani Shankha Ghanta Bajaye Sakala. As Nimai was being named, Nimai Vishwambhar was being named, all the demigods appeared there. Many people appeared, pious people, and there were auspicious sound of the conch shell, bell, everything. And there was, most importantly, Hari Dhvani. Dhanya punthi kai kadi swarna rajtadi jata dhari bara nimitta sab kaila upanita. Then to examine the child preference, the child's pravritti, his tendency, they placed dhanya, paddy, book, punthi, roasted paddy, kai, money, kadi, gold, and silver, rajat, in front of Nimai. Swarna means gold. They kept all these things in front of our Nimai to see what is his preference. Jagannatha bole shuna bapa vishwambhara jaha chitte laye taha dharaha satvara. So now this little 4-month-old boy, Nimai Vishwambhar, is being told by his father, Sri Jagannath Mishra, listen, my dear Vishwambhar, pick up whatever you find attractive. Do you like grains? Do you like books? Do you like money, gold, silver? What do you like? Sakala chadiya Prabhu Shri Shachi Nandana Bhāgavata Dhariya Dilena Alingana. Haribol. Here, Punthi refers to the Srimad Bhāgavatam. Grantharaj Srimad Bhāgavatam. Sakala Chadiya Prabhu Shri Shachi Nandana Bhāgavata Dhariya Dilena Alingana. Shri Shachinandan Gaurahari, Shri Nimai Vishwambhar left everything aside and went and embraced the Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport. Shri Gaura Sundar did not grab the rice paddy, gold or silver, which are meant for the Vaishyas, nor did he grab the puffed rice to become a gluttonous, greedy Brahman. Rather, gluttonous means one who overeats. Rather, from among the many Vedic literatures, Sri Nimai Vishwambhar grabbed only Srimad Bhagavatam. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shukhamukhad amrita drava samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. Nigama means the Vedic literatures. Nigama kalpataru, the Vedic literature library, is like a desire fulfilling tree. Yeah, Prabhu. Background blurred. And the ripened fruit of that tree is Srimad Bhagavatam. So Nimai embraced Srimad Bhagavatam. He grabbed only Srimad Bhagavatam and held it to his heart. By this gesture, Sri Nimai Vishwambar established the supremacy of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sarva Vedanta Saram hi Shri Bhagavatam Ishyate. Yad Rasamrita Tatyasya Rati Kvachit. One will not develop taste for anything else. And Nimai Vishwambar disclosed his future pastimes of preaching devotional service to Lord Krishna. Pativrata Gane Jaya Deya Chari Bhita Sabai Bole Bada Hai Be Pandita. From all sides, the Pativrata Nari, the chaste lady, exclaimed, Jai, Jai. Everyone predicted that the child would become a great learned scholar. Sabai Bolena Bada Hai Be Pandita. Our Nimai is going to become Nimai Pandit. That is predicted. Seeing the Lord's eagerness for taking Srimad Bhagavatam, the ladies devoid of spiritual knowledge concluded that Nimai would be simply a learned academic scholar. But Nimai, being Bhaktavatsal, and he makes the desires of his devotees come true. Satyam Vidhatum Nijabhritya Bhashitam. He made the words of these ladies also come true. Because for some time, our Nimai, he manifested simply his Panditya. Simply his erudite scholarship. So that also he did. Before he became Bhavuk Nimai, he was Nimai Pandit. Keha bole shishu bada hai be Vaishnava alpe sarva shastre raja nibe anubhava. Someone said this child will be a great Vaishnava. He will realize the true purport of all the scriptures alpe, in a very short time. Purport. Some knower of the future predicted that Sri Vishwambhar Nimai Vishwambhar would be an exalted Vaishnava in due course of time and would attain extraordinary knowledge in all scriptures by the influence of his devotion to Lord Vishnu. Yedi ke hasiya prabhu chaya Vishwambhara anande sinchita haya tara kalevara. Whoever was blessed by Shri Nimai Vishwambar's smiling glance was filled with happiness. Ye dike hasiya prabhu chaya Vishwambhara anande sinchita haya tara kalevara. Entire body would erupt in spiritual bliss just by receiving the Kripa Kataksha of Nimai. Kirtida Sundari Mataji, can you just scroll a little bit? So verse number 58 is done. Verse number 59. Ye kara ye kole sei edite na jane devera durlabhe kole kare nari gane. When a lady took Nimai Vishwambar on her lap, she did not know how to put him down. He was so attractive. In this way, the ladies held on their laps that personality who is Devera Durlabhe, Gaur Hari, who is rarely attained even by the demigods. Prabhu Jai Kande Sei Kshane Nari Gana Hate Tale Diya Kare Hari Sankirtana. Prabhu Jai Kande Sei Kshane Nari Gana Hate Tale Diya Kare Hari Sankirtana. Whenever Shri Nimai Vishwambhar cried, Prabhu Jai Kande, whenever he would cry, Sei Kshane Nari Gana, at that moment immediately the ladies Hate Tale Diya clapped their hands and Kare Hari Sankirtana. They chanted the names of Lord Hari. Shuniya nachena Prabhu kolera upare Visheshe sakala nari hari dhvani kare. As Nimai Vishwambar heard their chanting of Harinam, he began to dance. on their laps. This in turn inspired the ladies to chant with greater enthusiasm. This is Krishna consciousness. Anandam buddhi vardhanam prati padam. You do Harinam Sankirtan, Nimai is pleased. Nimai is pleased, our joy increases. He blesses us with that spiritual ecstasy. And in ecstasy, we do more service. And there is more reciprocation from Krishna. Heart becomes overwhelmed with Krishna's reciprocation. Heart starts melting. We do more bhajan, more service. And Krishna is even more pleased. And he gives more reciprocation, more bhakti. So this goes on eternally in the spiritual world. As the Lord heard their chanting, he began to dance on their laps. Can you imagine Nimai dancing on one's lap as we are chanting Harinam? 4-month-old Nimai. And this in turn inspired the ladies to chant with greater enthusiasm as Nimai was growing. Niravadhi sabara vandane Harinama chale bola yena prabhu hena ichhatana. Chale bola yena prabhu hena ichhatana. Niravadhi savara vadane Harinama. Everyone there, Niravadhi, continuously chanted Harinam, the names of Lord Hari, for they were induced by the will of the Supreme. Chale, Nimai being Chaliya, he does Chala. He is a transcendental trickster. He is tricking everyone to chant Harinam. Normally we would not chant Harinam like that. But because he would start crying, the baby Nimai would start crying if they did not chant Harinam. So Chale, by Chala, he was making them chant. And last verse for today. Tana ichha vina kona karma siddhana he Vede shastre bhagavate ei tattva kahe. Without the Lord's will, no activities are successful. This is Siddhanta. Taro ichha vina kona karma siddhana he. Unless Krishna sanctions, nothing can happen. Vede shastre bhagavate ei tattva kahe. This is the philosophical truth that is declared in all the scriptures, including Srimad Bhāgavatam, that it is Krishna's desire that always prevails. Aham sarvasya prabhava mata sarvam pravartate. Everything is coming from Krishna and everything is under control of Krishna. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam. There is nothing superior to Krishna. Mataha parataram na anyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. It is concluded, purport by Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, it is concluded in the Vedic literatures and in the Srimad Bhagavatam that without the will of the Lord, no fruitive worker in this world can attain his desired goal. Ye api anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhanvitaha te api mameva kaunte yajante avidhi purvakam. Ultimately, all the fruits are given to us by Krishna ultimately. He is the ultimate cause of everything. The demigods may be instrumental cause. We may be the immediate cause. Our endeavor is the immediate cause. The mercy and kripa of the demigods is the instrumental cause. But who is the ultimate cause? It is Krishna. There are 3 causes for everything. Immediate cause, instrumental cause, and ultimate cause. Krishna is Sarva Karana Karanam. Simply by the will of the Lord who inaugurated the Nam Sankirtan movement, everyone in the world chanted the names of Sri Hari on the pretext of lunar eclipse. Krishna wanted everyone to chant, and he is Aptakam. He is Satya Sankalpa. Whatever Krishna desires, that will happen. And therefore there was an eclipse, and the tradition was that during eclipse everyone has to chant. So Chale, they were chanting. That was a Chal. Krishna is a transcendental trickster. Again, the Lord induced men and women to chant the names on the pretext of Bhagavan. Now eclipse is over, chanting stopped. So Nimai starts crying. And for that reason, now they have to again start chanting. This is the Leela of Nimai. Last verse. Ei mate karaiya nija sankirtana dine dine bade prabhu Shri Shachi Nandana. In this way, the Supreme Lord Shri Shachi Nandana inspired everyone to chant his holy name in Kirtan. As he grew up day by day. Dine dine bade prabhu Shri Shachinandan. Our Shachinandan Gaurahari is growing up, and every day, because he cries and because he likes to dance in Harinam Sankirtan, everyone is forced and induced to do Harinam Sankirtan for the pleasure. In this, the Supreme Lord Sri Sachinanda inspired everyone to chant. So, Ei mate karaiya nija sankirtana dine dine bade Prabhu Shri Sachinandana. Hari Hari. This is our Sachinandan Gaur Hari. He feels very happy when we chant. So let's chant now. Please let us stop the screen share. And can someone unmute and tell? So here the theme is that all the ladies are chanting Kirtan and little Nimai Vishwambhar is dancing. Which bhajan or which song does this remind you of? Quickly tell. If you give the correct answer, then there is a gift for you.
Sachir nache re Sachir. I'm forgetting.
Srila Bhakti Charu Swayam Maharaj sang this so nicely. Yes, tell Mataji. What is the song?
Gopala.
Sundar
Lala Sachi Dulara Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein.
Hari Bol. So now let us give for 1 second, let us give everyone the opportunity to unmute. So now you can all unmute. Just for 1 second, unmute. Do you like this bhajan, all of you? Say Hari Bol if you like.
Hari Bol.
If you would like this bhajan to be sung, say Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. So the translation goes as follows. This gorgeous boy is the darling child of Mother Shachi, dancing in the kirtan of chanting of Lord Hari's names. His forehead is adorned with the drawings of sandalwood paste, and his enchanting locks of hair are shining in a splendorous fashion as they bounce upon his cheeks. His hair is wrapped in a top knot, and a garland of forest flowers sways upon his chest. Wearing brilliant yellow silken garments, he dances with ankle bells tinkling upon his feet. Sri Sri Radha and Krishna have become joined in one body, and together they play a flute within the grove of Nidhivan. In this mood, the Lord of Vishwambhar has come. Vishwarup, please forgive me. The Lord Vishwambhar, who is the Lord of Vishwarup, has come and manifested himself in the town of Nadia. Someone in that kirtan sings the names of Radha and Krishna. Someone else sings songs of Lord Hari's transcendental qualities, while others play the auspicious rhythms of the sweet and relishable mridanga drums. All this takes place in that spectacular performance. Sri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. This is okay. This is okay.
Let's go.
Sundar Lala Shachira Dulala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Sundar Lala Shachira Dulala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Sundar Lala Shachira Dulala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Sundar Lala Shachira Dulala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Bhale Chandana Tilak Manohara, Bhale Chandana Tilak Manohara, Alaka Shobhe Kapolan mein, Alaka Shobhe Kapolan mein. Sundar Lala Shachira Dulala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Sundar Lala Shachira Dulala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Shire Choda Dar Shivale, Shire Choda शिरे चूड़ा दर शिवाले, शिरे चूड़ा दर शिवाले, बन फूल माला हिया पर ढोले, बन फूल माला हिया पर ढोले, पहिरन पीत पटांबर शोभे, नूपुर रुणु झुनो चरणन में, पहिरन पीत पटांबर शोभे, नूपुर रुणु झुनो चरणन में, सुंदर लाला शचिर दुलाला, 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 राधा कृष्ण एक तनु है, निधिवन माझे वंशी बजाए, राधा कृष्ण एक तनु है, निधिवन माझे वंशी बजाए, विश्वरूप के प्रभु जैसा ही, विश्वरूप के प्रभु जैसा ही, आवत प्रकट ही नदिया में, आवत प्रकट ही नदिया में, कोई गावत है राधा कृष्ण नाम, 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 कोई गावत है हरि गुण गाना, कोई गावत है हरि गुण गाना, कोई गावत है राधा कृष्ण नाम, कोई गावत है राधा कृष्ण नाम, कोई गावत है हरि गुण गान, कोई गावत है हरि गुण गान, मंगलतान मृदंग रसाला, मंगलतान मृदंग रसाला, बाजत है कोई रंगन में, बाजत है कोई रंगन है, कोई गावत है राधा कृष्ण नाम, कोई गावत है राधा कृष्ण नाम, राधा कृष्ण नाम, राधा कृष्ण नाम, कोई गावत है राधा कृष्ण नाम, कोई गावत है राधा कृष्ण नाम, जय राधा कृष्ण नाम, कोई गावत है हरि गुण गाना, कोई गावत है, कोई गावत है हरि गुण गान, कोई गावत है हरि गुण गाना, मंगलतान मृदंगलताला, मंगलतान मृदंगलताला, नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में, नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में। हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि संकीर्तन की